Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Colby, or as I'm better known as on Twitch, Instagram, and here on YouTube, Serial Killer. And today's video is kind of special to me. It is the last video in this series for the models in the two-player Blood Bowl Season 2 starter set that just came out a couple of months ago. I finally was able to put together the Ogre and the two biased referees. And with the biased referees being really easy to put together, I went ahead and just put them in with the Blood Bowl Ogre. And as you can tell, you can actually get the Blood Bowl Ogre by itself. So hopefully this video helps you out with that. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. If you like what you see, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. That way you know when I put out my next videos. And I actually have more videos coming out for Blood Bowl. I am planning on doing the Necromantic Horrors and the Naggaroth Nightmares, or the Dark Elves. I am also planning on working on possibly some of the Warcry sets, and I also have a lot of Kingdom Death that I'm going to put together, but I also have a lot of other Warhammer armies that I need to put together. And so if there's any armies you're looking forward to seeing how to put together, or any that you have been interested in playing, tell me in the comments below which ones are they. But for now, let's go ahead and get into this video. And before we get started, if you are coming back and checking out these videos after checking out some of the other ones, thank you so much for coming back and checking out the channel. I have had quite a few people start to comment on some of the videos, giving me some ideas, as well as just talking to me about their favorite teams. And I've really appreciated those conversations. I really look forward to being able to talk to you all as well. And so again, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you would like to see in the channel. And yeah, with that being said, that's enough talking for me. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to put together the Ogre and the biased referees from the Blood Bowl second season two-player starter set. Just like usual, let's go ahead and take a look at the tools that we'll be using to put together the Ogre and the biased referees. So right here we have the sprue clippers, and this is obviously to get the pieces off of the sprue that we're going to need. This is a mold line remover, and like I say in every video, I highly recommend getting one of these. If you don't have one, I highly recommend it. Games Workshop makes this one, and it is fantastic. I've had it for about 4 years, and I have not had to replace it, and I mean, it still looks good, and it works just as well as it did the day I bought it. So there is the mold line remover. I also have my super glue, and I always use the gel super glue. So I'll either use the ultra gel or the gel control. Both of them are fantastic. I highly recommend getting the super glue that is the gel controlled. And then I also have my miniature and model files. And this is to get any small pieces that I might have missed with the mold line remover. So now that we have taken a look at those, let's go ahead and take a look at the instructions on how to put together the Ogre, and we will get started on him. Looking at the instructions for the Ogre, you can tell that there really is not a lot of pieces for him. So what we might go ahead and do is let's go ahead and cut off pieces 1 and 2, and let's also cut off 3, 4, 10, and 11. So go ahead and cut off 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and 11. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the sprue and see where those pieces are, and then we will cut them off, clean them up, and start to put the Ogre together. So taking a look at the sprue for the Ogre, you can tell that there's not as many pieces on the Ogre. And the way I have this set up, if you look on one side at the top, you will see GW with Games Workshop Limited 2017 written across the top. So That's the way I have it oriented. So if you want to do it the same way, go ahead and set it up like that, where that is at the top. Pieces 1 and 2 are right here, which are going to be the body. And then you also have a foot, which is right here, number 3, and then the other foot is number 4. And then we also need 10 and 11, and that's going to be the arms. So that's what's going to get us started with putting the model together. On the next step, we will actually cut the rest of the pieces off, and they will all go on after we put the arms and legs onto the model. So let's go ahead and cut out 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and 11. Clean up the pieces, and we will start putting the ogre together. Once you have all those pieces cut out, cleaned up, I put them in the numerical order. So I have 1 and 2, 3, 4, 10, and 11. To start with, go ahead and take 1 and 2, and this is going to be the chest plate for the ogre, and it should just fit in there pretty easily. So once you have that set, go ahead and put some glue right around the edges of the chest plate, and then we will put this piece together. With the chest plate put on, we can go ahead and move on to the feet. So piece number 3 is actually going to be the left foot, and it should just fit in there pretty easily. It won't fit on the right foot, so it's going to be pretty easy to tell which foot is which. So go ahead, dry fit those. Once you have those sitting in there the way you want them to, we can go ahead and glue those together, and then we will work on the arms. Now that we have the feet put together, let's take a look at the arms. And the arms are a little tricky. The best way to do these, because they are not going to fit perfectly into the grooves. So best way to do it is look at the armpit of the ogre, and you will see that there is just a little bit of overlap right here on the right hand side, and that's going to fit on top of the armpit on the ogre on the left hand side. So go ahead and glue that down, and then we will move on to the other arm. With that arm put on, we can go ahead and work on the right arm. And on the right arm, you're going to see this little groove coming out here, and that's actually going to sit flush with the armpit on the right ogre's arm. And so it's going to go right behind this little piece right there. So it's kind of hard to see, but you will see that it sits flush in there. So once you have that dry fit, go ahead and put some glue right through here on the body of the ogre, and then we will glue the arm down and look at the next pieces we need to cut out. With the arm put on, the ogre is starting to take shape. So now the rest of the pieces we need to put on are going to be just some of the armor and the head. So looking at the instructions, that is going to be the rest of the pieces on the ogre. So this all shows here that we're going to need numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And you will see that there is an exclamation point right here over the shoulder pads. And that, if you look up here, actually says assemble last. So that is the last piece we are going to put on. But for now, let's go ahead and cut out pieces 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 and go ahead and have those out. But remember, we are going to put number 8 on last. But for now, go ahead and cut all those pieces out, clean them up, and we will start putting them onto the ogre model. Now that we have all those pieces cleaned up, we can go ahead and start putting the final pieces together for the ogre. Now, what I've done here, I have put these in the order where it's 5, 6, 7, 9, and then 8, because it shows that 8 needs to go on last. So usually I'll put them in order of what they come off of the sprue, because that's the easiest way to put them onto the model. But with this saying that this needed to be last, I just switched numbers 8 and 9 on where they're supposed to go. So let's go ahead and start by putting the head onto the model. So you're going to take it, and it should just fit right in the groove for the head. You're going to see the neckline sit right here, and that's going to go flush back there. So once that is dry fit and you are comfortable with it, go ahead and glue that piece on, and we will move on to the next piece. The next piece we're going to put on is going to be the little, I guess you could call it a medallion or something like that, a little chest plate. And right here at the top, you're going to see this little piece of chainmail hanging down. And that is actually going to fit in this little groove right here on his right-hand side. On the back of it, you're going to see this groove, and it's kind of a, I don't really know, but there's a little design right there on the back, and it actually fits along the lines of the groove in his right shoulder and chest, I guess you could say. So go ahead and dry fit that in, and once you have it to where it fits in there just right, go ahead and glue that down, and then we will move on to his first shoulder piece. Now we move on to the first shoulder piece, which is going to be piece 7, I believe. And so let's go ahead and put that on. The long side back here is actually the back of the armor. And so that's just going to fit right over his head and over his left arm. So go ahead, dry fit that. And once you have that sitting how you want it, glue it down, and we will move on to his right fist. So now taking a look, we can go ahead and take piece 9, and it is going to be the top of his right fist. So go ahead, dry fit that, glue that on, and then we will take a look at the last piece for the ogre. So now it's time for the last piece. You're going to take that piece, and if you look, you're going to see the groove on his shoulder. So you're going to fit that down in there just like that, and it should fit in there pretty smoothly. Everything lines up pretty well. So go ahead, dry fit that, and glue it on there, and then we will base the ogre, and he will be done. Once you have that piece on, you can go ahead and base the ogre. I have gone ahead and based mine. I put his foot in the groove just right over the little gap on the bases, so right here. That way it leaves enough room to be able to put a football down on the ogre model's base if he ever picks football up. So just go ahead and glue that base on, and then when you have that done, we can go ahead and look at the 2 biased referees, and then we will be done with the entire set. So just taking a quick look at the book, as you can tell, the biased referees are really easy to put together. So you're going to need pieces 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for the dwarf. So go ahead and cut those pieces out, and then we will use the rest of the pieces for the elf. But to start with, the dwarf has more pieces, so let's go ahead and cut those out. So go ahead and cut out 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Clean them up, and we will put the dwarf together. We'll start with going ahead and putting the book together. You're going to want the openings of the book to face the lock. And so as you can tell, the lock kind of, or the book kind of curves. So it's obviously going to go with the shape of the book itself. So go ahead and put the pages on both sides of the book, and then we will put the body together, and then we can put the book on, and we'll move on to the elf. Once you have the book put together, we can go ahead and put the dwarf together. So go ahead and take the front of the dwarf, and it will just fit onto the body just like that. So go ahead and glue that together, and then we will put the book on and base him, and then we can move on to the elf. The final piece of putting the dwarf together is just getting the book, and putting it on his back. You're going to want the lock facing down, so the book is going to fit right in this back groove right here. So put the glue inside and just around that area, and then go ahead and once you have that dry fit and it's set in there the way you want it to be, go ahead and put some glue on the model, and then you can base it, and we will move on to the elf. Once you have the book and the base on the dwarf, we can go ahead and move on to the elf, who is going to be really easy. As you can tell, I made the dwarf to where it is the hole for the ball is still in the front. I know the referees never really use it, but I still like having all of my models consistent, so that's how I based that one. So with that being said, we can obviously see that the last few pieces are going to be 1, 2, and 3, and it's going to be putting the arm on and then the belt around his waist. So go ahead and cut those pieces off of the sprue, clean them up, and then I will show you how to put those on and base it, and we will be done. Now that we have all the pieces cut out, let's go ahead and start on the elf. You're going to take the belt, I guess you could say, and just fit it right there to where it's in the center of his hips, and it's going to be right in front of his chest. So go ahead and dry fit that, and then glue that on, and then we will put his other arm on. With that little hip piece on, we can go ahead and put his hand on. And so the way this is going to work is the hand is actually going to sit against his body. And so when you have that fit in there, you will feel that the arm in the shoulder area does not move at all. So once you have that where it feels like the pin will actually be pointing at the bottom of the piece that we just glued on. So go ahead and mess with that for a minute, try to get it to fit in there where it won't move, and then once you have that fit, go ahead and glue it and base the elf, and we will be done. And with that, the ogre and the 2 biased referees from the 2-player starter set are done. And that is all of the models in the 2-player starter set. Let's go ahead and take it back up top, and I will give you my final thoughts on the models from the Blood Bowl 2-player starter set. And there you have it. The set is completely done. These videos have been so much fun to make. I've had a lot of fun putting these models together. Some of them were a pain in the butt. I will say that. Some of, like Griff Oberwald, he was probably one of the hardest ones for me to put together. But even some of the ogres were kind of a pain. But overall, the models in this set are not that bad putting them together. I have definitely put together ones that were a lot harder to put together. And so overall, I had a lot of fun putting all of these models together. I'm really excited to be able to play the game and see what I think of Blood Bowl, because honestly, I haven't played it yet. And so being able to put all of these together, and these being my first Blood Bowl miniatures that I've ever put together, I am happy with the outcome. And so with that being said, again, thank you so much for checking out these videos. If you have liked them, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. What models from this set did you like putting together? And what models did you find kind of tedious or kind of a pain? And also, what is the worst model that you have ever put together? What is the hardest one that you've ever put together, I should say? But with that being said, thank you all so much. I hope to have the next team up in the next couple of days, and that will either be the Nagaroth Nightmares or the Necromantic Horrors. So stay tuned for that. Again, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Let me know what your favorite team is. Let me know what model has been the hardest or worst model for you to put together. And it doesn't even have to be from this set, or it doesn't even have to be from Games Workshop. But Until next time, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Also, if you're looking for a group on Facebook for mini painters and board gamers, I actually created and run a Facebook group called Mini Painters United Worldwide. I will have a link to that in the description below. So please check that out if you are looking for a group on Facebook. It is filled with a lot of great painters in the group, anywhere from beginners all the way up to professionals who do this for a living. And everybody's there to help each other out, and we have a great time. But with all of that being said, again, thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much, and I will see you again in the next video. Happy painting, happy gaming. Goodbye, everybody.